Modern concepts of law, governance, and architecture trace their roots back to Rome. We view it as the ultimate civilization, a society that defined the Western world through order and sophisticated political systems. Physical evidence of this legacy still stands in stone. Massive arenas like the Colosseum and complex water systems showcase an empire capable of engineering on a scale that few ancient cultures could match. But these stone marvels did not appear overnight. In the 8th century BC, Rome consisted of a few thousand farmers living in mud brick and thatched huts on the hills overlooking the Tiber River. Legend claims the city was founded by twins, Romulus and Remus. The story says they were saved from drowning by a female wolf who raised them as her own, a myth that provided the new settlement with a divine, predatory origin. This new city faced an immediate crisis. It was populated almost entirely by men. Without women, the Roman experiment would end within decades, its population unable to replace itself. Survival required the Romans to move past the myth of wolf's milk. To secure their city's future, they turned to a strategy of calculated, ruthless pragmatism. To solve their population crisis, the Romans invited their neighbors, the Sabines, to a religious festival. They offered a public display of peace and hospitality to lower the defenses of their rivals. Once the Sabines were inside the city, the Romans revealed the true purpose of the gathering. At a signal, they executed a mass abduction of Sabine women. This forced an immediate biological merger, creating the first multi-ethnic Roman generation through violence. This event established a pattern of growth. Rome expanded its power not just by defeating its neighbors, but by forcibly absorbing their populations into its own culture. Success in early raids reinforced a social hierarchy built on military valor. Romans valued the ability to take what they needed through force, prioritizing the strength of the collective over the rights of the outsider. The kidnapping of the Sabines set a precedent for centuries of Roman expansion, an early demonstration of a culture that viewed the assimilation of foreign people as a primary tool for survival. 2 centuries later, the city faced another transformation. Under its 7th king, Tarquinius Superbus, Rome lived under a harsh monarchy that actively destroyed Sabine shrines and ignored traditional rites. The tension broke when the king's son assaulted a noblewoman named Lucretia. Her suicide became the catalyst for a political revolution. It turned private grief into public revolt, demanding a radical restructuring of the state. Lucius Junius Brutus used the crime to summon the Senate and expel the king. He led the people in an oath to never again allow a single monarch to rule over Rome, effectively ending the kingship in 510 BC. The resulting government replaced the king with an aristocratic republic. This new system shared power among senators and elected consuls, creating the political framework that would govern Rome for the next 500 years. The violation of the Sabine women provided the population that built Rome. The violation of Lucretia provided the political outrage that built the republic. These early aggressive integrations allowed a few hill villages to eventually dominate the entire Mediterranean. Within a few centuries, the unified Roman state absorbed Greece, Gaul, and North Africa. Even at its peak, the empire retained the characteristics forged in its earliest days. It remained a highly militarized, strictly hierarchical society that thrived by constantly bringing new territories and peoples under its control. The stone ruins visible today represent the lasting legacy of the Republic, a system of law and order that survived for a millennium. But these foundations are tied to the dark folklore of the city's origins. These myths suggest Roman civilization did not emerge from a peaceful ideal, but from the belief that the survival of the state justifies the most extreme measures.